So now that you've done two monumental things, you've put more money into the hands of the consumer, you brought down for the middle classes the income tax cut, and now rationalization of GST. So will it now finally sort of move the needle on consumption?
100%. Because there's more money given already through the income tax cut.
Right.
The rates are coming down. So the citizen now has a choice. To meet his aspirations and his expectations, he cannot say, look, I have the money because the income tax is reduced, but these items are beyond my affordability. Now everything has come down. I'll give you this number which is important. 99% of all the goods and services which are touched by GST are now either in 0 or in 5 or in 18.
That's right.
There's nothing beyond. So that 1% is what makes for the demerit goods, right, which popular parlance says sin goods.
Yeah.
So that is the extent to which we have cleansed the system of anomalies, doubts, duplications, and any interpretative issues.
So this will also lead to higher investments, it will fire up investments as well.
Obviously, with consumption going up, there's a potential for capacities to grow, investments to grow.
Now the combined tax revenue impact of this, earlier your income tax cuts, and this is about 1.2 lakh crore. Do you think that there will be a certain revenue buoyancy as well in the coming years to make up for this? And
every economic theory that one studies says that.
Yeah, have you seen that in the past?
Well, at least the moment the income tax reduction happened, you heard people very clearly coming out and saying, I've met up with a lot of individuals coming from different strata of the society saying, I'll have more money to send my son to this particular college. My daughter is already doing engineering. I'll be able to fund her for her higher studies and things like that. And from ordinary citizens who are leading their lives either working in a small store or driving a car, taxi, and so on. So it has an immediate psychological effect that I can do this, which was beyond my affordability. And therefore, I think there will be a buoyancy in terms of revenue.
Any impact on capital spending or fiscal deficit?
I wouldn't think. At this moment, I can say with confidence, capital expenditure of the government will not come down. It will be completed as is stated in the budgetary planning time, the budget estimate time, and so with the fiscal deficit. And this is the last point of my gliding path.
Right.
I will adhere to it.
Will petroleum products and alcohol continue to be outside the ambit of GST?
Yes, the current proposal doesn't include it. Right. The states will have
and
to.
You don't see that happening in the near future?
Not in the immediate future.
Okay. Let's move, to a few broader economic questions as well. With GST rationalization, inflation is likely to come down quite naturally. Does it make a case for further repo rate cuts in the future? I know it's not your, but generally, directionally speaking.
Not my domain. We'll have to see how the RBI assesses for itself.
September 22nd is a tight deadline. Are you confident you'll be able to roll this? Is the back end ready?
Yes, the back end was mentally prepared, and many structural things have already started getting corrected, reset, and so on. It is with the agreement of these GSTN related technology managing team related issues that we have had a discussion with them, and they have clearly given me the confidence that yes, they will be rolling it out on September 22nd.
So Rahul Gandhi, who earlier called it Gabbar Singh Tax, now has been talking about one nation, one tax. On the other hand, former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram, he said that, it is 8 years too late. How do you react to all of this?
Well, being in the opposition, I think they have to say something. When the popular response has been so overwhelming, for an opposition to try to take some credit out of it, but yet with a hesitation that the credit should not be completely given to the government is quite understandable. But I would want them to ponder that neither could they bring it in because they couldn't win the confidence of the states. nor could they truly and literally understand how the mechanism works. After all, the GST Council has members from Congress party.
Yes.
Finance ministers from Congress ruled states are there. But I have a feeling the Congress High Command, as they call it, doesn't do its homework to understand the way in which this wonderful organization works, the GST Council. And therefore, at one point in time, they call it Gabbar Singh Tax, another point in time saying, oh, this is fine, but it should have come earlier. These are clearly statements coming from people who have not really spent time to understand how post-independence, that one institution which has been created, a constitutional body, if I'm right, this is the only one which has been created post-independence,
yes,
is spent 8 years, but has delivered so much in terms of revenue, in terms of uniting this country, in terms of making ease of doing business a reality, and is now coming up quickly in succession within 8 years with the second generation reforms. To understand it and then to comment would help the government, not stray comments which doesn't get into the details.
Nirmala ji, this has been widely hailed as one of the dramatic reforms of this government. Obviously, a dil mange more. So, what next? PM has set up 2 official level committees on next gen reforms. 2 group of ministers have also been formed, headed by Amit Shah and Rajnath ji. What can we expect in the coming months? What is the idea going forward? How do you look at reforms in the bigger picture?
Quite a lot of work was done about the next set of reforms which we need to undertake, even prior to 24 Lok Sabha elections. And then some departments moved, like ours moved faster. There are other departments which are moving faster as well, whether it is looking at the environment-related issues, sustainability-related issues, opening up for private sector, sectors which have been the domain and the privy of the government. These are things where lots of action is happening. Various departments are moving. The science and technology is moving very fast. IT is moving very fast. IT as in semiconductors and other things. So that big area of reform, if you ask me, in which these 2 committees will look at, and also the committee which is headed by former Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba. Right. I expect reforms which will have to now trickle down rather than remaining as a domain of only the union government. The state governments are somewhat also moving towards reforming on very many scales. But the third layer of India's democracy, the urban local bodies and the panchayats, is where the next forceful action has to move. Otherwise, the speed with which we want to move India and the aspirations to be met in India for people to live in a society, live in a country which is fairly developed, and our citizens get their aspirations met, I think we have to take the reform agenda just not to the states but also to the third layer.